Have you ever thought about how your absence will affect other people? It's simple to forget how strong it is. Something big starts to change in both of your lives when you really leave. Your absence doesn't just leave a hole. It sends a message, and the quiet you leave behind is stronger than any word you could have said. They don't notice at first. People might even be glad you're not there to criticize them, point out their flaws, or show them the gaps they've been missing. But here's the thing. If you've been there for someone for a long time and fed them, even if they didn't realize it, they will start to feel the lack as soon as you leave. Why did you start the connection? Check in, show up, and bring the emotional weight of the connection. So often, back then, they didn't see it because it was always there, like the air they breathed. But it's like gasping for air now that it's gone. It doesn't just feel empty without you here. It feels like I can't breathe. And the quiet, it's not just quiet. They have to sit with their own thoughts in that kind of silence. They can't see what they had when they had it, and feel bad about their mistakes and regrets because of this kind of silence. Because they don't have your words to listen to, only their own voice back to them. With questions they don't want to answer, like, why did I trust them? Why didn't I see how valuable they were? How would I have changed things if I knew they were going to leave? But this quiet isn't just about them. It's also about you. You've made room for yourself to hear your own words again. You may have spent a lot of time and energy trying to meet their wants and wait for them to finally see how valuable you are. But in this quiet, you got things straight. You were at peace. This quiet is what makes you strong. This is the time when you stop trying to explain or show your worth and let your absence speak for itself. It's not a fight for payback. It's not about being angry. You need to take a step back and remember that your time, energy, and love are presents. And if they didn't value them, they were never meant to be with them. They have to deal with the silence now. But what about you? You're free. You are free to think about what's important. Feel free to give your all to places and people who already know how valuable you are. You are free to become the person you were meant to be. So let me ask you, how has your life changed since you've been gone? What changes has it made in theirs? Share your thoughts below if you've ever felt the weight of leaving someone behind or the power of taking back your peace. I respect your choice to be quiet. This is your chance to show how strong you are and to remember that sometimes the quietest thing you can do is speak up. Think about the moment when they finally realize that you're gone, not just for a short time, not just for a pause, truly and totally gone. At first, they fight against this truth. Their minds tell them it's only a phase and that you'll return. After all, haven't you always? Have you not been the one who stays, forgives, and stays even when it hurts you? But that defense starts to break down slowly. It starts with little things. They're looking through their phone and notice that you haven't called them in days, then weeks. It's missing the normal text and the usual check-in. At first, they try to ignore it, but something doesn't feel right. Every day that goes by, that absence gets stronger, and then it happens. The understanding. What could set it off? A song that makes them think of you. A place you used to visit together. Hearing your name in conversation. Or finding an old message from you in which you shared your deepest feelings with them. They are hit with the truth all of a sudden. You're not coming back. They've lost more than just a game. They feel heavy because of the loss, and they can't easily get away from it. They start to play back events in their minds to try to figure out what happened. You made their life easier, happier, and better. They remember the times you were there for them, and the things you did to show you cared. And as I think about each experience, I realize more and more, they had something amazing, but they let it go. They don't just feel sad, they also feel guilty. They should feel bad about what they said and what they didn't say. Feel bad about the times they let their ego, pride, or lack of interest in you keep them from seeing how valuable you are. They ask themselves, why did I think they were so easy? Why didn't I try more? Why did I not tell them how much they meant to me? But here's the hard truth for them. There are no answers to those questions. It wouldn't matter if they did, though, because you're not there anymore. You've moved on, but they're still dealing with the weight of what they know. You're living a different story. You're not going over the past again the way they are. You're making the future. You left the cycles that made you feel tired, and the one-way links that made you feel like you weren't seen. People didn't think you would choose to be yourself, but you did. Not to worry. This is not meant to punish them or make them feel bad. Their realization and sorrow are what they have to carry. It's not yours, and you shouldn't have to make it easier. Instead, you keep your attention on the present. When you look back, their realization is like a ripple in the water. Your life, on the other hand, is like a sea with endless options. If you've ever felt their regret or your own freedom from it, leave a comment below. I let go of their regret. Remember that those words are not about you, and that their feelings are not your business. Your future will be better without their mistakes holding you back. Let's change the subject for a moment. Let's talk about what part you played in their story. You may have thought that how much you could give them was what made you valuable for a long time. It took all of your strength, love, and time to be their anchor, their safe haven, and the person they could always count on. No one else was there but you. It would have been easy for you to leave, but you stayed. Is that true? The part you played in their story wasn't about them. It was about you. It was meant to teach you something important about yourself, like how strong, resilient, and able to give, even when you weren't getting anything in return. A long time ago, they thought of you as someone who would always be there for them, no matter what. They got used to how you helped them, and consistently put their needs ahead of your own. Because of this, they started to take you for granted, not necessarily because they were mean, but because they were used to having you around. You became so important to them that they stopped seeing you as a person and started seeing you as something that was there. You might have told yourself that this was common and that it was your job to keep things together. It was your job to try, forgive, and keep going. But I have a question for you. How much of yourself did you lose? Why didn't you take care of your own needs while you were taking care of theirs? If you chose to walk away, it wasn't just to leave them behind. It was also to take back yourself. The people who put you in that job thought you'd never leave it, but you chose to start a new chapter in your life. It was your story, not someone else's, and you were the main character in that part. This change is terrible for them. They might not understand right away, but they'll understand what your presence meant in time. They will understand how important your quiet, consistent work was to their security, comfort, and happiness. Now that you're gone, they have to deal with the voice you left behind. That being said, this is about you, not them. You need to understand that the part you played in their life was always meant to teach you something about your own. It showed you how much you can give, but more importantly, it taught you how important balance is, how to know when to take a break and keep your energy safe. You're no longer in their story. You've moved on to a better life, one where how much you honor yourself is more important than how much you can give to other people. And that choice, that gives you power. Take a moment to think about this. Let me know what you think. I'm the main character in my story. This should remember you that your life is yours to live, and no one else can tell you what to do with it. Take off. A lot of people get this idea wrong, but it's the key to freedom, peace, and personal growth. You didn't just leave them behind when you walked away. You decided to separate. Being detached doesn't mean hiding your feelings or acting like you don't care. You need to know when your responsibility ends and theirs starts. So long, you may have tied your sense of self-worth to what they said, how they felt, what they thought, and how they approved of you. You may have felt like these things made you who you were. You worked hard to make them happy, meet their needs, and show that you deserved their love and respect. But somewhere along the way, you learned the hard truth. They didn't have to see your worth for you to be proud of yourself. We need to be detached in this case. You don't have to cut yourself off from the world or stop caring about other people to be detached. You just have to let go of the need to manage things you can't change. It's about letting go of the weight of their thoughts, feelings, and expectations, and focused on what you can change, yourself. Marcus Aurelius said, "You control your mind, not the things that happen around you." If you understand this, you will be strong. That is what separation is all about. Being aware that their thoughts, deeds, and even their regret are not yours to control or carry is what it means. Being detached frees you. In this way, you can move on without letting their feelings hold you back. It helps you understand that their sorrow, longing, or realization has nothing to do with how valuable you are. They show what choices they made. The funny thing is that they stick to you more when you try to separate from them. They will want your attention more when you stop trying to please them. People start to realize what they've lost when you stop needing their praise. Many people find it uncomfortable to be in a place where they have to face their own flaws because of your distance. But being detached isn't about them. It's about you. It's about getting your power, peace, and energy back. It means making the choice to live a life where your happiness isn't tied to how other people act. Think about how much better your heart feels when you stop trying to manage things that you can't change. Imagine how much more relaxed you feel when you don't have to worry about what other people think of you. Being detached isn't cold, it's freeing. As you go forward, remember this truth. You are not responsible for how they feel. You are in charge of your own. Think about this for a moment and then write in the comments. I choose freedom through detachment. Remember that the only way to find true peace is to let go of things that were never yours to carry. I feel strange when I feel regret. It doesn't happen all at once. It builds up slowly and steadily, like a shadow moving across the ground as the sun goes down. Perhaps they won't even know what it is at first. They might not notice that you're not there and tell themselves that it doesn't matter because life goes on as usual. But regret waits patiently and doesn't give up so quickly. It starts out small, with little things that happen in their daily lives that remind them of you. It could be something you used to say or do, the way you laughed, or the little things you did that they never fully recognized. At first, these memories may seem short-lived, like a thought that goes by. They get stronger over time, though. It gets harder to ignore the warnings. Then it hits them one day. That person is in a place that you both used to love, hearing a song that you both used to like, or getting a glimpse of someone who looks like you. Everything comes back to them at once. The memories they had pushed away, the times they had missed, and the things they had taken for granted. You start to see how much they didn't value, how much you gave, and how much you brought into their lives. That's when the guilt starts to really set in. They start to play back the last times you talked to them, looking for signs. How could they have done it better? What did they need to say? It starts to hurt them that they didn't do enough and fell short in many ways. Things that they used to think were small and unimportant now seem huge. Why didn't I pay attention when they needed me to? Why didn't I value the love they gave me? How could I have missed that? Regret never goes away. It makes them think about not only what they lost, but also why they lost it. As a mirror, it shows them how they took you for granted and how their ego, pride, or lack of interest got in the way of something important. But here's the thing. They should feel this sorrow, not you. It's not your job to make them feel better or give them peace. They don't need to hear your side or wait for you to apologize. Their guilt shows what they did, not how valuable you are. You're moving forward while they sit there with this extra weight on them. They can make mistakes, miss things, or not see your worth, but that doesn't bind you. You've decided to work on yourself, your growth, and making a life that doesn't depend on their approval or recognition. Let their sorrow teach them a lesson, not make you carry it. Write in the comments, I am free from their regret, if you've ever felt the weight of someone else's regret, or the freedom of letting it go. Saying those words should make you feel free and remember you that the only thing you owe the past is the lessons it taught you. Let's talk about you for a moment, not them or their sorrow, but the person you're becoming. Because while they live in the shadow of the decisions they made in the past and think about what they lost, you're living a very different life. You're not stuck in the past. You're making something new. You are changing. But when you left, it wasn't just to leave them behind. It was to choose yourself. That choice wasn't simple, was it? It took courage, strength, and a strong belief that you earned more. If you were honest with yourself for a long time, you may have told yourself that sticking was the right thing to do. You might have thought that how much you could suffer for them showed how valuable you were. Then something changed. You saw that staying wasn't just making you feel bad. It was also stopping you. It was stopping you from living the life you were meant to live. So, you left, which was the hardest thing you've ever had to do. And by going, you made something amazing possible. This was the first time you could really see yourself. You started to see how strong you were, how you could bounce back from bad things, and how you could grow even after a breakup. It became clear to you that your worth was never based on how much you could give someone who couldn't see it. Your worth comes from within, can't be denied, and has nothing to do with what other people think. This is how you changed. Changing doesn't just mean moving on. It means getting better. The idea is to use the bad things that happen as fuel to grow into better people. You found parts of yourself you didn't know were there. You found strength that amazes you, drive that motivates you, and a peace that you don't know but finds to be beautiful. The most important thing is that they're watching you rise. They see it, maybe not right away or in public, but they do. They can see the life you're making for yourself without them. They are scared by how sure you are of yourself, how happy you are, and how independent you are, because they are beginning to see that the version of you they threw out is now doing well in ways they never thought possible. It's not about getting even, not to show them they're wrong. It's a way to show yourself that you were always enough and capable. You didn't need their approval back then, and you don't need it now either. Epictetus said, "First tell yourself what you should be, and then do what you need to do." That's exactly what you did. You've become the person you were always meant to be, and the person you were then. They're no longer able to reach you. You're past their sorrow, past their apologies, and past their ability to understand. Now is the time to enjoy how far you've come. Let us know what you think. I am rising above. Let those words show how much you've changed and tell you that your change is the best way to make them feel bad. If we're being honest, there will be times when you want to look back, even after you've decided to walk away, committed to your growth, and welcomed your change. It's how people are. People often feel drawn to the past when they remember times when they felt like they were at home. There will be nights when it's too quiet, and you'll question whether you made the right choice. There are times when you miss the good times, the laughing, the moments of connection, and the times when it seemed like everything might work out. Then there are times when they reach out to see what will happen. It could be a call, a message, or something as simple as liking an old picture. It's easy to wonder, have they changed at this point? Do they finally understand how valuable you are? Is it possible to fix what went wrong? But here's the thing. We tend to think that the past was better when I think about it. Smooths out the rough spots, lessens the pain, and boosts the good. You forget the reason you had to leave in the first place. That being said, what would you want to find if you went back? Would it be the end? Say sorry, as proof that they finally know what they've lost? Or would it be comfort? A place you know well to rest, even if it hurts you in the end. At the time, looking back might make you feel better, but it won't help you grow. They are probably still the same person they were when you left. Most people aren't ready to put in the work, time, and self-reflection needed to make changes. They may feel bad about losing you, but feeling bad doesn't change them. Moving forward is the hardest thing you've already done. You've given yourself something better, healthier, and more satisfying. The peace you've worked so hard to find won't come from looking back. You will be stuck in the past, which is not helpful. In times when you want to dwell on the past, tell yourself that it is there to teach you, not to live in. It changed you, but it doesn't make you who you are. You have the power to move forward because you chose to do so. When someone's regret makes you want to reach out or react, or when nostalgia whispers in your ear, take a deep breath and ground yourself in the present. Think about the new life you're making, the person you're becoming, and the peace you found. Right below, I choose to move forward. This should be your affirmation. The past doesn't hold you back anymore, and the future is where your attention should be. Now we get to the part where people often feel regret when they try to go back, because guilt doesn't just stay there. It grows, festers, and makes them want to do something. They start to believe that they can fix the problems they caused and get you back. When they first try to get in touch, it might seem like a simple question. Hey, how have you been? Or they might like one of your old social media posts just enough to let you know they're still looking. Maybe it's a more direct message, like a long explanation with words that sound real. But why are these things happening? Is it love? Is it real change? Or is it just guilt, being alone, and the pain of facing their own regret? The hard truth is that they want to come back for most of the time, not because of you. It's about them. You're trying to help them feel better about their guilt, ease their pain, and get back what they've lost. Not because they've changed, but because they're afraid of life without you. Think about it. Think about how much time and effort you put into them. Think about the chances you gave, the ways you tried to make things work, and the times you let them off the hook. Did they value it back then? Or did they think you'd always be there and not bother you? They can see the hole you've left behind now that you're gone. They feel your weight when you're not there, the silence that used to be filled with your words. They understand how much they depended on you for the first time. But just because they realized that doesn't mean they've changed. Change that lasts takes work. To get better, you need to be humble. Think about yourself and be ready to put in the work. To be honest, most people don't want to do that. It's easier for them to reach out, say sorry, and say what they think you want to hear in the hopes that it will bring you back. But words that don't mean anything are empty. If you don't keep your promises, they don't mean anything. And someone who didn't see how valuable you were when they had you probably won't now either. You can do something when they try to come back. They can make you feel bad about the past, or you can keep the peace you've worked so hard to achieve. You can be honest with yourself and ask, are they reaching out because they've really changed, or do they miss the easier going version of you? Don't forget that you don't owe them anything, not an answer, not another chance, not your time. You've given enough already. Just remember why you broke up with them when they send you that message, or try to get back in touch. Know that you don't have to go back to things you've already grown out of. This will help you keep your peace. Post a comment below that says, I protect my peace. Make this a promise to yourself that you will choose your future over your past and your growth over their sorrow. Said no is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, but it will also set you free, not just to other people, but also to the parts of yourself that still want things that you know are bad for you. One thing is to leave, but it's quite another to stay away when the past comes calling, wrapped in excuses, promises, and old comforts. It's hard to say no, especially to people you used to care about. You may have shared years of memories, laughs, and times that seem to last forever. They're back now, and telling you everything you wanted to hear before. They say they've changed. They finally get how important you are. They say they will be better and give you what you deserve all along. It seems appealing, doesn't it? To think that this time they really mean it. To believe that just maybe they know what they've lost and are ready to make things right. But you need to ask yourself, is this about helping them grow? Or is it about making them feel guilty? The hard truth is that most people don't change because they had an instant realization. They change when they have to. Most of the time, their sorrow isn't about you. It's about how you left a hole in their life. They don't like how they feel without you there to fill in the holes, give without asking, and provide without expecting anything in return. When you say no, you're not punishing them. It's to keep yourself safe. It's about sticking to the rules you've worked so hard to make. It means being aware of how valuable your time, energy, and love are. That person has to earn those things, and you can't give them to them. How many times have you said yes when your heart was telling you no? When you let someone back into your life, you hope this time would be different, but you end up going through the same pain and loss again. It takes self-respect to say no. It tells the world that you respect yourself enough to pick peace over chaos, clarity over chaos, and growth over stagnation. You're telling yourself and everyone else that you won't settle for anything less than what you earn. It's great to say no though, because it makes room for something better. You make room for the future when you shut the door on the past. You make room for what will help you when you let go of what isn't. And the next time they say they're sorry and want another chance, remember this. You don't owe them anything, not your time, not your energy, and not your forgiveness. Because you've been working hard to build a better life, find peace, and grow. You owe it to yourself. Take a moment to think about this. As a reminder, write in the comments, I choose to honor myself. This will help you remember that saying no isn't about shutting people out. It's about letting yourself in. The last part of this trip is now here, the peace you found. It's not the loud, happy peace that comes after winning. It is calm, steady, and won't move. You can feel at peace when you know you made the right choice, even if it wasn't the easiest one. It was about you that you walked away, not them. You got back your time, your energy, and your sense of who you are. People were talking about leaving a life where they were always giving more than they got, and entering one where their worth is clear. That peace might have felt strange at first. Yes, you did spend a lot of time in the chaos, the back and forth, and the doubt. Peace, on the other hand, can feel almost empty. But as time went on, you understood it's freedom, not emptiness. Not having to worry about what other people think. Freedom from having to show yourself to people who never really saw you. Freedom means being able to live your own life without any guilt. And this is the most beautiful part. They can't take away your peace. Your peace is yours to keep, no matter how much they want to come back, or how much they are sorry they lost you. Because it's based on things they can't touch, your courage, your strength, and your growth. Take a moment to consider your present situation. You've made progress that you didn't think was possible. You've changed into someone who knows they never had to confirm you because you learned how to do it yourself. Your life feels complete, not because of what other people give you, but because of what you give yourself. That's peace that lasts. That's why you should use their regret to remind you of what you've won instead of what you've lost. You're more clear now. You are now on your own. You now know how to leave behind things that don't serve you and move toward the life you deserve. Hold on to this truth as you go on this journey. Your peace is your power. You can send the strongest word to the world and the best gift to yourself, because you chose yourself when you chose peace. If this hits home for you, think about it for a moment and leave a note below. I choose peace. Let this be your affirmation, a reminder to yourself and others that nothing can change the peace you've worked so hard to find. Not regret, not apology, not attempts to pull you back. Thank you for watching. This thought may have helped you. Please like the video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to grow and become clear. Don't forget that your trip is yours and that you should protect your peace. Keep going, stay strong, and keep your feet on the ground.